how you doing? It's Michelle Obama.
Hi, Michelle Obama. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being on. It's an honor and a privilege to speak with somebody who could quite possibly be the next First Lady of the White House.
Well, we've got a few more weeks to work hard, and that's one of the reasons I'm calling, to make sure people are focused and they're registering and they're voting early and all that good stuff.
Well, right off the bat, as a radio personality and as somebody whose livelihood depends on maintaining an audience, my audience uses the radio as a form of entertainment. I got to lay this right on the table.
Okay.
I have issues with your husband, and I have issues with Democrats in general. I don't want to bum you out on the first question or anything.
Oh, man. All right.
But in my, as a potential voter, this is on my mind quite a lot, and as a radio personality especially. Anytime something is deemed inappropriate or offensive, it always seems like the Democrats are always the first ones to raise a stink.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Okay, so what's your question?
Well, my question is there any truth to that? I mean, am I right on the money with that? It just seems like whether it be a song lyric or a television show or a movie or a video game, it always seems like the Democrats are the ones that take issue with things that could, offend somebody. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can't speak for all Democrats. I mean, I can speak for me, and I hear what you're saying, that sometimes we get so hypersensitive about stuff that it makes it very difficult to have good conversations about things.
Right.
So I don't know whether I place blame more on one party over another, but, I've tried to be, for example, very not taking any stuff personally, because I don't think you can be in politics and take stuff personally when they say something bad about you or there's something wrong. I mean, I really try, and I think Barack has done a good job in trying to take the high road and make sure that we continue to focus on the issues that voters care about, because folks are hurting. They're hurting in Ohio. They're hurting all over the country. And folks want to hear about, what are you going to do to fix this broken economy, and how are we going to make sure that, if somebody in my family gets sick, that I don't go bankrupt? And how do I make sure that my kids are getting a decent education? I mean, those are the kind of things that I hear about when I'm out there on the campaign trail. And I know right now both Barack and Joe Biden are traveling throughout the state. And these are the kind of things that they're hearing from voters, which is why at least our campaign is trying to focus on the issues as much as possible and not sort of focus on the tit for tat or worry about who said what to who and taking offense, because people are just tired of that. They want to know, what are you going to do to make my life better? Right.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, in my college years and in my high school years, I used to think of myself as a Democrat, because Democrats at that point were tolerant and loving and accepting and forward thinking. But now it seems like Democrats do everything in their power to destroy the First Amendment and dictate freedom of choice. That's the vibe I'm getting anyway.
Well, I can only speak for me, my husband, his campaign. I can't speak for an entire party, and I definitely can't speak to the experiences that you've had. I wouldn't want to argue with you about how you feel and how you've taken issue with things. I do agree that you probably represent a lot of voters who are sick of politics that doesn't reflect the values and the problems that people are facing. I think one of the reasons why I'm a Democrat is because for the past 8 years, we've just been pursuing an economic policy that has really screwed folks in my neighborhood, quite frankly. Folks have been losing their jobs. They don't have health insurance. Jobs are being shipped overseas. The education system all around the country is falling apart. Teachers all over the place tell me that No Child Left Behind hasn't been working, and they've left the money behind, and teachers don't get the training that they need. Folks are really afraid of what's happening overseas. A lot of people are ready for our troops to come home responsibly, and they're ready for us to take the $10 billion that we're spending every single month and start investing it here in our community.
Well, those are obviously good points, and I think both parties want to get the country back on its feet. But back on the radio thing, not to be selfish or have a one-track mind here, but like with the Don Imus firing, Barack was one of the first people to put pressure on his employers to expedite his firing. And that, as a radio personality, that frightens me. That scares the hell out of me, Michelle.
Well, don't be scared. Don't be scared, because you know what scares the hell out of me? Folks losing their jobs, people not having health care, folks like my dad. You know what my dad did, how he was able to raise me and my brother? He was a shift worker. He worked in the same job for my entire life, and he was able to pay the bills, keep a roof over our heads, send me and my brother to college. And right now, men like my dad, all over the state, all over this country, can't do that. And they can't do it because of the economic policies that have been implemented for the last 8 years.
Do you think there'll ever be a time when whites and blacks can make fun of each other equally without the fear of getting fired or losing their job?
I think they're doing it right now. If you look on the Daily Show, which I go on all the time, if you turn on the Jay Leno or any of these, I think people are getting to the point where they can begin to have these conversations. But I think we've got a lot of work to do. But that's one of the reasons why we've got to put these issues aside and start talking about the things that voters really care about.
Where's Barack right now? Is he there with you? Is he hanging out with you?
He's in Ohio. He's in Toledo. He's working on debate prep. There's a big debate tomorrow night.
That's right.
And hopefully the candidates will talk about the issues that we care about.
Have you had a chance to spend a lot of time with him lately? I can't imagine you have.
With Barack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him at least once a week. And he calls home every night. But we're on the road. We're working really hard.
You're not drifting apart, are you?
Do you really care?
No, well, of course I do.
We gotta wrap it up there.
How many bowel movements is he churning out a day? Do you know that?
Oh my
goodness.
That's how you can really tell how a marriage is tight, if you can.
Are you married?
Yes, actually, yeah. And I know exactly how many times my wife goes poopy every day.
Would you tell the world?
That's true love.
We got to wrap it up
great
here.
talking to you. Great. Tell your listeners to vote early.
Has he ever farted in bed and held your face under the sheets?
Take it easy. We love you.
What about the toilet seat?